What is up, everybody? Welcome on into another stream. Welcome on in to another show. It's Monday, February 3rd. Can you freaking believe it? Already got 1 month in the books in 2025. And man, this week, I got to tell you, this week is shaping up to be absolutely goddamn ridiculous. So we've got a lot to cover today. We have to talk about the Fantastic Four trailer, which is confirmed to drop tomorrow. I want to go over our plans for that. I want to talk about what to expect from this trailer. I also want to talk about, like, is this even a good move, right? I was legitimately going to make fun of Superman for being at the Puppy Bowl. But being at Good Morning America several days before the Super Bowl might actually be even worse than premiering a trailer at the Puppy Bowl. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. There's also news that we missed last week. We have to talk about this Superman lawsuit. It's absolutely crazy. I want to break it down for you. Talk about if it'll actually turn into anything. Really interesting situation there. We have a Star Wars story, very small Star Wars story, flying under the radar, but it does have to do with the leadership over at Lucasfilm, consequences because of the Accolade, which of course was canceled. It was a big disaster, and a lot of people hated it. So I want to break that down. I also want to talk about Invincible Season 3. I'm quite excited about that. And then on top of breaking down what to expect for the Fantastic Four trailer, we will also be talking about what to expect for the Superman trailer and what to expect from the Thunderbolts trailer, which I also think is going to appear for Super Bowl Sunday. Hell yes. So I appreciate everybody for jumping on here. I do see a massive, way too big super sticker from Rossi. Appreciate that. You probably hit the wrong button, so you're going to want to charge that back. Also see a lot of friendly faces in chat. What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. As per the new format over here, I'm going to mostly just get into the news right away. We'll do all the news topics, and then we will break into Q&A later on. This is mostly because we're also putting this show up on podcast feeds. In fact, today I think will be the very first day that this show, the Den of Nerds Daily, will be up on the podcast feed. So if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, really appreciate the support over there. We do this show every day live at 11 a.m. And we break down a ton of cool stuff, man. All the nerdy stuff that is going on in the world. And then we break into Q&A later on. And that's when it gets wild. That's when the chat becomes unleashed. So stay tuned for that portion of the show as well. Anyway, hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. Mostly just chill. I will admit, I must be the world's worst UFC fan. I don't know if it was just because I was so busy or I had other stuff going on with family or whatnot, but I totally forgot that there was a UFC this weekend. And in fact, a pretty big UFC. Israel Adesanya fought. I had no friggin' idea what's going on with that. He lost. That sucks. Apparently it was a good night of fights, though. A lot of cool stuff going on in there. And then, of course, in the sports world, we're not really a sports ball channel over here. But massive waves made with Luka going to the Lakers. Apparently that's really freaking crazy. People were fired up about that. So I did see a lot of that. The Grammys happened last night. I know there's a lot of conversations about that. Particular outfits that people wore, including a big old house. And I guess, you know, I'll ask you in the chat, let me know. What was more ridiculous? The fact that Will Smith's kid dressed up as a literal house, or the fact that Kanye's wife dressed up as literally naked? Which one of those things is more crazy? I'm not really sure. Just another weird day in this world that we live in. But yeah, I had a pretty good weekend. I'm excited to get into the news. I do want to say I appreciate everybody for being chill about me taking Friday off. Much needed rest. A lot of cool stuff that we're cooking this week. As far as show notes go this week, man, we got a weird one. So as we're about to get into, guys, the Fantastic Four trailer is supposed to drop tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time. That's wild. That's very early in the morning. And I know we've tried different things. We tried some stuff for like the Superman trailer and the Daredevil trailer. I kind of want to change it up, and a lot of you guys are going to be happy, but it's also weird because of the timing. But I want to actually do my first reaction live. So what we've done for the past couple big trailers is I do a reaction and a breakdown video, and then I jump on a live. I actually want to do it in reverse tomorrow. So tomorrow at 7 a.m., I'm going to be live, and we're going to break down the trailer, react to it together. Hopefully it's good. Otherwise, it's going to be a real awkward stream real early in the morning. I might be super grumpy. So that's what we're going to do. That's the plan. Tomorrow morning, 7 freaking M, I'm going to be up reacting to the Fantastic Four trailer. And then I assume we'll break it down together. We'll, do a little Q&A. Then we'll wrap up the stream. And then I will work on a more condensed, well-produced breakdown video throughout the day tomorrow. So either way, you'll get a breakdown of the Fantastic Four trailer from me tomorrow, maybe live if you are awake for that, or you can watch that later, either on the podcast or up here on this channel. And then I'll be doing my breakdown. So that's going to be absolutely nuts. Wednesday night, we have our Nerd Venger stream. It's the first week of the month, which means it's more of just a casual kind of Q&A hangout stream. So 7:30 on Wednesday evening. We'll be doing that for all of the paid members, and I really appreciate that. And then, of course, it is the Super Bowl this weekend, and I will be live for the Super Bowl. Or I guess you're supposed to call it the big game, otherwise they sue you or take all your money or something like that. So the big game on Sunday. What time's that start, chat? Like, what is that, like 6:30 kickoff or something like that? We'll be live around that time. I assume when we first go live, we'll probably break down the Superman trailer because that's going to come out earlier in the day on Sunday. So we'll break that down. And then we'll be watching the Super Bowl. I'll be giving commentary, rooting for the Eagles, of course. And every cool trailer that comes out, we will break down live together. So I'm excited for that. That'll be on Sunday. Another thing that I wanted to say just in terms of show notes this week is that Invincible Season 3 drops. 3 episodes on Thursday. And over the weekend, I did some research. Just kind of looking into Invincible Season 3. I was like, should I be excited for this show? Should I cover this show? Whatever. Bro, there's a ton of really cool stuff out there about Invincible. And I started to get really hyped up for Season 3 the more I looked into it. And so I actually put together a video, probably going to drop now on Wednesday, just because I got an X-Men video today. And then I've got the Fantastic Four video tomorrow. And then I'll drop an Invincible video. But I spent a good bit of time and put together a sort of everything you need to know for Invincible Season 3 video. It has a lot of cool details, a lot of stuff that was shared, and a lot of rumors and leaks that are out there. Really cool stuff coming in the way of rumors about the Conquest character, Invincible War, some of the fun stuff that is rumored out there for the show. So what I want to do is I'm going to put that video out, and if the video gets a good response, I might end up covering Invincible this season. Like, I'll make a video after the first 3 episodes drop, kind of breaking it down, talking about where the show goes from there. And if there's enough interest from you guys, I'll continue to cover it week to week. Because, again, I think Invincible has a chance to get its aura back. I think Season 2 was an abysmal, terrible mess. But I actually think that they have their shit together. If you watch the video, I think you'll be convinced, too. There's a lot of cool stuff coming for Invincible. And a lot of comments from like Robert Kirkman and other people that suggest that they've figured it out. And the show from here on out is going to release more timely, not a lot of breaks, 8 seasons in total, a lot of cool stuff. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, we'll give it a shot. Maybe if there's enough interest, we'll continue to cover it. Either way, I still at least wanted to do a video breaking it down. And you know what's wild too is if you look at next week is when Captain America Brave New World comes out. At least I believe so, right? Yeah, next week is when Captain America Brave New World comes out. Now, what that means is we are going to get our first social media reactions. The people will go to the world premiere, and we'll do that sort of first reviews video, which we always do. Those are very popular. And I think with Captain America specifically, people are super interested in that, man. I mean, the buzz is like not great for Captain America, right? And I think much has been said about the reshoots and about a lot of the changes they made to the movies. Is the movie a lot better now? Are fans going to be surprised? Will critics think it's actually dope? Like, a lot of us are like, what's the deal? Did they fix it or not? Is it a meandering, lackluster mess? Or is it a slick action movie that's actually going to make us care a little bit more about Sam Wilson as Captain America? I think that's kind of the question. And we'll get our first little hints at what that'll look like next week. I'm personally super curious about that. Like, if the first reviews come out and they're pretty bad, it's going to be devastating. Like, it's going to be devastating. If they come out and they're pretty positive and people are like, yo, this was actually way better, you know, don't believe the buzz, don't believe the bad news, like, this is actually hype, then I'm going to begin to get really excited, because the most recent trailers and whatnot actually seem pretty cool, pretty slick. And I want to believe, man, like, there's like a big part of me that's just like, no, I want to believe that this Captain America movie is going to be dope. I would really like for the Captain America movie to be dope. So we're going to find out all about that next week. So, guys, we got like a real busy couple of weeks of nerd venging ahead of us. And I'm excited. And a big piece of that, and I guess we can just get into... Uh-oh. Let me grab one thing here. And I guess we can just get in to the news, man. The big piece, of course, has to do with the Fantastic Four trailer. This is confirmed. This is the actual Marvel Studios account. Says the Future Foundation invites you to take your first steps into a fantastic new era. Launch coverage begins at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 a.m. Pacific Time. That's wild as hell. Are any of you on the West Coast actually getting your ass up at 4 a.m. for the Fantastic Four? Will that help it be a little less crazy? We're like, oh man, it's fucking 4 a.m. But you know, it's the Fantastic Four, and that's a 4, and this is 4 a.m. So I'm excited about it. Would love to know. So this is pretty crazy. Now let's back it up a little bit, because I do think the story of this story is kind of fun. We thought this trailer was coming out for the Super Bowl. Man, I was pretty convinced that it would be. And in fact, I had written a video, I had recorded a video, I had edited a big portion of a video, and I had sent it over to my editor to finish. And the premise of this video was going to be breaking down the potential trailers for the Super Bowl. What are we going to see there? And what do we expect to see within these trailers? Okay? I was convinced that the Fantastic Four would come out on the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, yesterday, a little story popped up, and it said that there was a press release that went out for Good Morning America, which indicated that you would get the first trailer of the Fantastic Four. And I was like, what the hell? So I immediately stopped that video. It kind of threw off my whole weekend, whatever. It is a part of the game. But I was like, is this real? Are they really going to drop this thing on GMA on a Tuesday? I mean, that feels weird. Not like in just a regular week. You know, GMA, of course, that's a good spot for trailers. It's got a lot of like normies that watch it. It's also owned by Disney or whatever, right? So that makes sense. Tuesday's fine. You know, I got nothing against Tuesdays. The 4th of February, that's cool too. You know, fine. F4, February 4th, real cute. But the fact that the Super Bowl's this Sunday, we're getting this trailer on a Tuesday, kind of weird. I'm going to be honest. Kind of weird. Kind of threw me. And then the GMA people actually took that out. They deleted that from the press release. And so up until this came out, which was literally 10 a.m. this morning, about an hour ago, I was not sure. I was like, is this trailer actually going to release tomorrow? What's the deal with that? So we get this official look here. And yes, it is dropping tomorrow. Now, this came with a little teaser spot. So let's watch this little teaser spot together. It does have some of the theme, Michael Giacchino's theme here. So let's check this out together. And I love that build at the end there. Of course, it says tomorrow launch coverage begins at 7 a.m. Eastern time. And look, the deal here, of course, is they're tapping into that nostalgia. This is like a 60s, 70s vibe, right? Bunch of kids running up to where you can actually see a bunch of TVs. And these are tube TVs, too, which is kind of wild. All on display. And, we're seeing some of the launch sequence. We're seeing some of them in their actual astronaut uniform, prepare F4 launch. Okay, so Future Foundation, the idea of the trailer, we're starting to see, even before the official trailer is revealed tomorrow, what is the vibe? What are they trying to accomplish with this trailer? So I think with this whole look at the Future Foundation and the nostalgic piece, what we're probably going to get here, and again, this is a teaser trailer, but what we're going to get is probably a version of some of the leaked trailers that we got before. Now, during San Diego Comic-Con last year, they did have a really cool presentation for the Fantastic Four. You'll recall there was that flying car, which I think was done with like drones and whatnot, but it looked super cool, super slick, like Jetsons looking car that like floated up to the stage. And they did have a sizzler reel for everybody to see at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, this thing leaked out online. A lot of us watched it. The thing about that teaser is it was not using any of the actual footage for the movie. This was actually all the actors getting together with Matt Shackman, and they shot some stuff, but they're not on set. They literally like did a version of the costumes, version of all this stuff, just shot some stuff for the nostalgia, and then put it into the trailer. Later on, at, I believe, CCXP in Brazil in December, there was another version of that teaser trailer that was shown. That version was using actual footage from the film. Sue Storm's costume looked a little bit different. Things were just tightened up a little bit. And so they've been building the promotion for this movie kind of behind the scenes based off of these vibes of this nostalgic thing. And I think with the Future Foundation in general, you can kind of see that the way Marvel wants to use the concept of the Future Foundation within the marketing here is almost as though it's like Bill Nye the Science Guy kind of a program, like a public broadcast system program where the Future Foundation is coming in to your home to explain cool stuff about the world, maybe the galaxy, etc. That kind of feels like the vibes that they are going for here. So I would expect tomorrow's trailer to match a lot of those vibes. However, I also think that considering the competition that's out there, Superman, the Jurassic movie, a lot of other stuff, I do think Marvel needs to sort of plant their flag a bit more than just using this nostalgia and all of that kind of vibes. So I would expect some teases for the sort of larger, crazy elements of this thing. And I'm kind of wondering if in any way the trailer will show that this side of the Fantastic Four, this like family first, celebrity focused team, this whole idea of the Fantastic Four might end up being something of a facade. It might actually not be real. And some of the rumors about the plot indicate that this is like a veneer that will be removed and the public will form a new perspective on the Fantastic Four. That's really interesting. I wonder if that idea will be teased at all in the trailer tomorrow. Now, the things that I'm looking for, the things that would cause me to go absolutely nuts, of course, number one, it's Galactus. Now, we've seen a bit of Galactus. Even in the footage that was shown at San Diego Comic-Con, you have some look at Galactus, like his eyes are looking through the Baxter Building window or something like that. I believe this was also in the trailer that was shown at D23. So they have like a shot of Galactus that they could have potentially done more VFX work on so that it's like ready for the public. So I'd expect some Galactus. Now, I'm personally hoping we get a sense of just how badass Galactus is. Like something really crazy, showing the power, the cosmic side of Galactus. Maybe him destroying a whole planet or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's a little too wild. But I would really appreciate it. So I'm hopeful for some big G stuff, man. I mean, Aniston's voice, right? His voice as Galactus, man, that shit has had me hyped up since I found out about his casting. He has an incredible voice. And so I just can't wait to hear that man's voice deliver some cold ass Galactus lines, bro. That shit's going to be really cool. So Galactus, man, that would pique my interest for sure. Again, I think you're going to get a lot of vibes of like the 60s, their launch, that whole nostalgic thing. I think that is obvious. But another thing that I'm hoping for is something to do with Franklin Richards. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I kind of put this as a low possibility for the trailer. I think Galactus has a fairly high possibility, but I truly think that Franklin Richards has kind of a low possibility. Now, for the sweaty among us, right, for the super nerdy people that are out there, Franklin Richards is a huge deal. Franklin Richards is the son of Sue Storm and Reed Richards. He's an Omega level mutant. He's a reality warping being. He is one of the most powerful and fascinating characters in Marvel Comics history. I absolutely love the Franklin Richards character. And I'm super excited that he's in this movie. And I'm very excited about the potential rumors of what Franklin will actually be doing in this film. Now, the idea of the Future Foundation is kind of interesting. In Marvel Comics, quick little TLDR on this. In Marvel Comics, this is all from the Jonathan Hickman comic book run, his Fantastic Four. This story begins with Reed Richards being involved in a think tank. That's just like a group of really smart people on Earth. And also it has to do with him being involved in the Council of Reeds. Reed is trying to solve the problem of everything, right? He's always solving problems. But at some point he's like, how do I solve all the problems, right? So that's kind of like where this thought process takes him in as far as the Future Foundation. All that stuff falls apart. The Council of Reeds falls apart. Crazy Celestials come in and basically kill everybody. Reed gets out of there. And then you see that Reed Richards stops his think tank group on Earth. And instead, he forms a group of young people to try to solve the problems of the future. The idea being that all of these old people aren't really invested in solving these problems. They're all just kind of selfishly looking at their own stake in life. And Reed thought, if I got all these young people together to try to solve the world's future problems, they're actually invested in the future because it's their future. So that's the direction I'm going to go in. That's what the Future Foundation is. The Future Foundation also has both of Reed's kids, okay? So it has Valeria Richards and it has Franklin Richards. They are members of the Future Foundation. So with the Future Foundation being a thing in this movie, and obviously a big part of the marketing push, at least thus far, I wonder if Franklin and Valeria will be seen as a part of that, or if they're taking kind of a different approach. Not really sure. And then, of course, the biggest deal that they could drop in this trailer, the thing that I think would really break the internet and shock fans and maybe just cause this trailer to blow up or to get all sorts of hype, would be Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. Now, as far as we know, Robert Downey Jr. is a part of this movie. The rumors currently indicate that he's a small part of the movie and that he will be either in a post-credit scene or perhaps at the end of this film, and his presence will be felt throughout the movie, but he's not actually going to be in the movie a lot, and it'll be a big setup for what is to come in Doomsday. There's basically just so many rumors with regards to Fantastic Four, but the logic from, scoopers and people that are on the inside, they are all saying that the Fantastic Four movie is a huge setup for Doomsday, and perhaps the biggest setup for Doomsday out of this year of movies, right? We've got Captain America, we've got Thunderbolts, and we've got the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four movie is also the only film this year that was greenlit and exist outside of like the Phase 4 mentality. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Captain America introduced during Phase 4. It had a completely different name. Maybe a lot of things have changed with that film. Thunderbolt was supposed to be a sequel to Black Widow. It had a completely different logo, different costumes, different look. That movie has changed a lot over time. Getting the beef people from Netflix involved seems to be a big win for that creative team. The point I'm making, though, is Thunderbolt, Captain America, these are movies we've known about for like 5+ years. They were developed during the Phase 4 time period, which is kind of sketchy. Fantastic Four is the first movie outside of that group of films that we are going to see. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine, sort of. Fantastic Four, though, is like a direct part of the plan to get us to Doomsday and to get us excited for what's coming with RDJ Doom and the end of the Multiverse Saga. So there's a lot of questions, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of questions about what to expect for tomorrow's Fantastic Four trailer. And I guess for me, like the thing I'm looking for the most is that this thing pops off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's enough to establish this really cool nostalgic vibe for the team. They look like the Fantastic Four, and Galactus is there, and this is a Fantastic Four movie. I personally don't think that's good enough. And I'm hoping that the marketing of this movie is going to immediately, because this is the first time that the main public is going to get a look at this film. I hope that the marketing and the trailer that we see tomorrow is like a smack to the face, and it shocks us, and it immediately presents itself as something much more than just a Fantastic Four movie. All of the stuff that I'm talking about, right? The vibes, the nostalgia, the costuming, that whole family thing. That's all fine. That's good. And it's appropriate for the property. But I think there's way more to it. And according to a lot of the leaks and rumors, there's a darkness to this movie. There's some really shocking elements to this movie. And I think it's going to be a lot bigger in scope than people realize. So I'm hoping that tomorrow is the first time that gets actually authentically shown to people. And I'm hoping that it begins a conversation, right? Begins a conversation about what this could all possibly mean. What's really going on? That is what I'm hoping for. So we're going to find out together. It's mere hours away at this point. The trailer, first teaser, Fantastic Four, drops tomorrow. That's what I expect from the trailer and sort of the story of how we got here. It's also wild, too. I'll say one other thing on this. It's so wild that they're doing this on GMA. I don't really understand, right? And we're going to get into like the Super Bowl trailer, some of these other things that are going on. Why does Marvel want to have the Fantastic Four trailer debut and then we get into the Super Bowl, which will possibly then show Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts, right? Like, what's the logic there? I don't fully understand it. And I am a little bit confused on that. And there's part of me that's concerned about the marketing for Fantastic Four. Like, is this getting lost in the sauce? Is this an appropriate way to do this to give it its proper shine? Would it get buried by the Thunderbolts on Super Bowl? Like, what's actually going on? I'm not really sure, but it's weird. And I think we'll find out more tomorrow. When we see the trailer, when we see how it hits fans, we'll be able to say like, oh yeah, dude, this was a really good idea. Or, oh, I don't know about this. Maybe you should have saved it for the Super Bowl. We will talk more about that when we see it. So that's what to expect for the Fantastic Four trailer. Again, coming out tomorrow, 7 a.m. We're going to be live. Dude, I'm going to have to wake up so early. It's going to be crazy, you know? I'm going to have like a lot of coffee. I'll probably be half awake. It's going to be wild. You know, I'm a little excited about it. Just to be honest with you, like, when's the last time that we had to, like, either get up early for a thing or stay up late for a thing? You know, we don't do it a ton anymore, right? Like, I don't really do watch parties like that anymore. And, like, dude, Invincible drops at 3 a.m. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to, like, watch Invincible and shit. But it's cool when a thing is a big enough deal or we're excited enough about it that we want to get up early, that we want to like disrupt our day because we're like, oh, bro, I gotta be there. First Fantastic Four trailer, we gotta be there. So I am excited to do that. Hopefully the stream goes smoothly and it's not just me being like, this trailer is horse shit. I might as well just give Brandon Davis $500 right now. What the fuck? You know, we'll see. We'll find out together. Now, speaking of other trailers, I would love to now talk about Superman. So, we just talked about Fantastic Four trailer. Let's now talk about Superman, okay? Superman. Man, a lot of interesting stuff going on with Superman. I think that last TV spot, which was shown during the football games, the championship football games, I don't think there's any way around it. That was not a great look for Superman. I know there's a ton of people out there making videos and saying, like, why can't we just like stuff? And I understand that energy. I've been there before on different things. But I also think if you're just being honest and you're taking a step back and look at it, a lot of people thought that Superman trailer looked weird, bro. I mean, you got the Hollywood Reporters talking about it. You got a lot of fan discourse. I think that trailer was not great for Superman. Now, the next big look at Superman is going to happen on Sunday. We know this. We have this confirmed. It's not going to happen during the Super Bowl. It's going to happen during the Puppy Bowl, which I believe happens in the afternoon. It's like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And this is, frankly, a gimmick, right? Maybe it's a really smart gimmick that'll resonate with people and get a lot of buzz, but it's a gimmick, right? Gunn has put crypto and the idea of crypto kind of front and center for the marketing of Superman. So far, so good. A lot of people like crypto. I think he looks like a goofy, shaggy, weird-ass dog and not like my crypto, hashtag not my crypto. But I have to admit, a lot of people like crypto. They like the look of Gunn's crypto. So with it being the Puppy Bowl, with it being kind of a gimmick, and with us already seeing that the marketing has focused a lot about crypto, what I would expect for this trailer is crypto. That's what I think is going on. More specifically, I think we might see crypto be a bad dog. Now, this is some stuff that Gunn has spoken to. The whole idea of putting crypto in this movie happened because James Gunn adopted a dog, I believe like from a shelter or something. And this dog had a lot of problems because of its situation. This dog would destroy a lot of stuff. And so Gunn was kind of like inspired by that whole situation. And crypto in the Superman movie is not going to be a great dog. He's going to be destroying stuff. This is stuff that Gunn has spoke to. So I think we've seen crypto helping Superman, right? Take me home and like being a good dog, etc. And I think what we might see on Sunday will be a cute little, oh, crypto's actually a bad dog. Superman's just like us because he has to deal with bad dogs, which, by the way, none of you have to deal with bad dogs the way that I have to deal with bad dogs. Do you know what a Shiba Inu is? Do you know what it is to have 2 Shiba Inu? No, you do not. It is absolute terrible. I wouldn't wish it on my enemies. They're absolutely terrible dogs. I love them, but they're terrible goddamn dogs. So I think that's probably what we're going to see in the Superman trailer. I don't expect a ton more reveals. I don't expect anything that happens and we're like, oh, shit. I kind of just expect being a part of the conversation, cute little crypto thing going on, hopefully, for the sake of Gunn and everybody over there, hopefully no more weird shots. I mean, I know Gunn is trying to like explain away that shot by saying that it's no CGI. It doesn't matter, my guy. Like, you can't explain away the way that shit looks. Like, it doesn't look good. Maybe you should use CG on it to fix it up. So hopefully Superman can avoid further controversy as far as like how the movie looks. I think it's just going to be a cute little crypto trailer. And maybe that's good enough, right? You know, it'll get some positive buzz. In a serious sense, this strategy could pay off. I mean, people like dogs. I think marketing around some of the animals for Gunn's other stuff, like, you know, Rocket Raccoon is huge. I think that's a huge draw, especially for that third film. I think this stuff has proven to be successful for him in the past, and I think it's working so far. People like crypto, and that first trailer kind of popped off because of the way that crypto was utilized. So this could be good. I did initially think that the Puppy Bowl thing was kind of weird. It does kind of speak to Warner Brothers being broke. The movie doesn't look great. There are rumors the VFX has issues. So, like, I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's a good narrative. But overall, man, I think most people are probably going to be down with it. Most people will probably like it, accept it, and we'll see how I feel about it. Again, we'll be live Sunday, and we'll probably break down the Superman trailer first. I mean, again, I don't really expect it to be crazy, but maybe some fun shots of crypto, and maybe it'll even win me over. Maybe this will be like the Grinch's heart growing back to normal size or whatnot. Maybe it'll finally thaw its way to my heart, and I'll start to be down with Superman after the Sunday trailer. I guess we'll see. It's also possible that I absolutely hate what the Fantastic Four trailer does tomorrow, and then I'm all in on Superman. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's what I expect for the Superman trailer on Sunday. Nothing too crazy, guys. No big reveals. I expect some crypto. That's what I think we're going to get. Okay. Now, I do believe that there's another trailer dropping for Marvel Studios, and that would be the Thunderbolts trailer. Okay. I think this is pretty obvious. I mean, Deadline first reported that there would be 2 different Marvel movies having trailers during the Super Bowl. With the Fantastic Four trailer dropping tomorrow, I think it's highly unlikely they would drop teaser trailer Tuesday and then like another trailer or like another TV spot for the Fantastic Four. We're all kind of thinking that, right? Like we're all like, okay, so Fantastic Four probably not during the big game. And frankly, that makes sense. I mean, Captain America's next week. I think it would be brilliant to use that opportunity to promote Captain America again. And I don't think they're going to reveal too much stuff with Captain America, but maybe like a nice 30-second spot that's nice and toy. Maybe some new looks at the Red Hulk smash and some shit. A lot of the more recent stuff for Captain America has looked pretty cool. So I would expect you to get a little something like that. But then the Thunderbolts, baby. And this movie comes out before the Fantastic Four. So again, I guess it does make sense from Marvel's perspective to have the 2 upcoming movies be promoted at the Super Bowl for the big game, right? But the Thunderbolts trailer, it's kind of interesting. A lot of people are speculating that we will get our first look at the Sentry on Sunday for that movie. And so far, the marketing for Thunderbolts has been on fucking point. That trailer last year that they dropped late last year looks incredible. I think the vibes are strong. I was shocked at how good that trailer was and how excited I got to go see that film. And the current buzz out there from like a lot of different insiders, scoopers, and those kind of people, the current buzz is that Thunderbolts is like hard as nails, ice cold, surprise hit, might be just exactly what the fan base is in for. And I mean, you can kind of see it in that trailer. Like, it looks slick as hell. The character moments look brilliant. I love the way they've tied all of those characters together. Seems really, really cool. And the wildest part about the marketing so far is no Sentry. I mean, we see Bob, right? It seems like all the Thunderbolts get brought to Avengers Tower by Val. And we see Bob. And we even see in the trailer some Sentry stuff. There's some designs for the Watchtower. There are different logos for the Sentry. This all indicates that Bob Reynolds, the Sentry, he's not just going to be a created superhero in the sense that he will take the serum, but he's also corporately created as far as his viability with like mass audiences and stuff. So it seems like Val has just completely created her own superhero, which is wild, right? That aspect of it's really interesting. But all we've seen is Bob, and we've seen him get a little angry. He gives a little face when the soldiers are like shooting at him and whatnot. There's some shots where it looks like they probably removed him throwing a helicopter into a building and all the Thunderbolts are looking up. But we have not seen shit for the actual Sentry. Okay? And this is going to be exciting. Like, this is fun because the movie already seems good. I'm already excited for it. And we haven't even seen the Sentry thing. And the Sentry is absolutely the massive draw for this whole thing. I mean, back in the day, you know, before they decided to go in a different direction, Steven Yeun was going to be the Sentry. That was a super big deal. There were leaks for the costume, et cetera, et cetera. They end up going in a different direction, and now they've got this dude. But still, Sentry's awesome. So I'm very excited to see the first look of Sentry. I also think it's kind of fun that you're going to have maybe the first look at Sentry for the Super Bowl, and this is a big day for the Superman movie as well. That's kind of fun because Sentry is kind of like a Marvel version of Superman, has a lot of the same things going on. So I want to see what the costume looks like. I want to see what his powers look like. I mean, he's supposed to have like crazy aura, almost like he's constantly going Super Saiyan. If you're familiar with the character in comics, that's kind of what he's like. And so I'm excited to see that. I kind of think it might be a little bit like what you get with Captain Marvel, right? Not to put you into a bad move, but, you know, like Captain Marvel and the way that her powers look when she's doing her thing out there. That's kind of what I think you might get with the Sentry. But hopefully we get a look at his powers. We get a look at what it looks like when he's going Super Saiyan. Maybe we get a look of what he looks like in actual costume. And I think that's going to be really cool. Now, another big question about this trailer is, will we just see the Sentry? Or will we also see the Void? Man, dude, this is so cool. Thunderbolts is cooking. Because, again, the shit looks dope. People are hyped. Actually looks slick as hell. Super fun. Very funny. Bucky's badass again. Hell yeah, right? None of that has to do with the Sentry. Sentry's a huge draw. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, shit, and the Sentry? Yo! Beyond that, though, we also have the Void. This is like Russian nesting dolls. You just keep popping them open, and there's more cool shit. Hopefully, we get a look at the Sentry. But the Sentry has this evil side to him known as the Void. The Void is like the Hulk of the Sentry, or like the Mr. Hyde to the Dr. Jekyll of Sentry. So normally Bob is just tapped into his Sentry powers, and he's like a Super Saiyan kind of version of Superman, very powerful, super badass. But there's a side of him that's known as the Void, which is like this cosmic, crazy level dark entity. And in certain moments in the comics, like during the Siege event, the Void takes over the Sentry, and it's such a problem that everybody that's fighting has to stop fighting and just stop the Sentry, because he's now the Void, and that's going to destroy everything. Now, I have heard some absolutely insane rumors about the Void. That it's not just going to be this dark side version of Sentry, but it will be that, and that's going to be awesome. But there's also even potential that when the Void comes into this movie, the scope of this film completely changes, and it might be a gateway into some other dimension or universe. Okay? Now, again, rumors. Who knows for sure? This hasn't even been confirmed by anybody like really reliable. These are just like older rumors. There have been some hints that it's possibly still in the movie. But man, what if we get our first look at Sentry on Sunday, and then we get a little tease for the Void, and we begin to see that, like, oh shit, the Void, that's going to be really crazy and really dangerous. So I think, and I'm going to predict right now, that the Thunderbolts trailer on Sunday is going to steal the show, and that film is going to shoot up on people's lists as far as are they interested in it? What are they going to see? And you know what else, guys? I'm gonna make a real crazy prediction. Okay, and far be it for me to try to make some other crazy ass prediction. I can't believe, man. I don't know what's my record on these. Actually, don't tell me. Let's not talk about it. I'm gonna make a prediction. I think coming out of the Super Bowl, there's going to be more hype for Thunderbolts than James Gunn's Superman movie. And in fact, I'm going to take that prediction a step further. I think Thunderbolts will make more money than Superman. Yeah, dude. Everybody's talking about Fantastic Four, and don't get me wrong, I think Fantastic Four is going to pop off. I think it's going to make more money than Superman. I think it's basically guaranteed to be a hit. We'll have to see. I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll be singing a completely different tune after tomorrow morning, and I'm like, the goddamn Fantastic Four is just a bunch of fucking astronauts and bullshit, Mr. Stretchy Man. Fuck that shit. You know, we'll see. We'll see. But for now, I'm predicting that movie's going to do very well. But Thunderbolts is a sleeper hit. Thunderbolts is about to pop up. As soon as people see the Sentry and realize that he looks so much cooler and better and doesn't go cross-eyed when he spins, when he's flying like that stupid ass, we have Henry Cavill at home Superman. As soon as people see that, and then perhaps get a glimpse at what the Void looks like and how crazy that shit's going to be. Oh, man. Look out. Look the fuck out, because Thunderbolts is about to pop the fuck off. I'm saying it right now. I'm giving it stamp of approval. Thunderbolt's going to go nuts, and people are going to like it more than Superman. It's going to make more money than Superman. It's going to steal the show on Super Bowl Sunday. So, yeah, no, I'm that's my prediction. We're going to find out on Sunday. It's the main thing I'm excited for on Sunday. You know, hopefully also get to watch the Chiefs lose and Taylor Swift cry. That would be great. But mostly I'm watching the Super Bowl so that I get a peek at Sentry, man. I want to see what he can do. And I'm excited to see some of that gold energy and maybe some of the void too. That's going to be pretty hyped up. So I'm pretty excited, man. Bold predictions. I got some bold predictions for the Thunderbolts movie. Super Bowl Sunday. So there you have it. Okay. Couple other things we got to get into, and then we'll get into Q&A. I'm sure you guys have a lot to say about all this sort of stuff, and we'll get into it. I'm excited to just break into Q&A with you guys as well. But, you know, speaking of Superman, I think we should probably talk about how Superman's done, and it got sued, and now it's done forever, and they're not. It's Jover. It's Jover for Superman, okay? Okay. So, let's talk about this, man. Lawsuit. Superman banned? It's not going to release everywhere? What the hell's going on here? Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. So, this came out over the weekend. Actually, I think it might have came out on Friday, you know, but you guys weren't there. I did a live stream, but nobody showed up, so nobody saw it. The estate of Superman creator Joseph Schuster has filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers and DC. They claim the studio lacks the rights to release James Gunn's Superman in a number of territories, including Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Australia. And this is coming from Deadline. Okay, couple of things to talk about with this. Since this happened, Warner Brothers has come out and said they deny these claims and they will be fighting this in court. Okay, so maybe when this first came out, a lot of us were like, okay, well, they'll probably just pay whatever, they'll settle, and then it's, you know, they're going to release the film. Apparently, Warner Brothers plans to fight this tooth and nail, so they're going to get in there and try to stop this. Now, the brief sort of TLDR of why this is even a thing is because the two Jewish boys from Cleveland that created Superman, I'm pretty sure they sold it to DC for like $100, maybe less. Might have even been $69. Very low amount. I think even with inflation, it's like around $1,500. I've seen people speculate, okay? And that contract was bullshit. It sucked. It sucked ass. It was not a good contract. And, you know, this situation, it's good to remind everybody that in these situations, unfortunately, even companies like Marvel and DC, who we generally like, and we like the characters, and we celebrate their catalogs, they have unfortunately not always treated their talent the best. And I think it was, I don't know if it was Joe Schuster or the other kid, who I'm blanking on his name right now. But I remember hearing a story about how Superman became a Broadway play, and it was out on Broadway. And this dude was so broke, the guy that had created Superman, he was so broke, he could not even afford to go see his own creation in a play on Broadway. Okay? That's just like one example of showing you how badly these dudes got screwed over and how much DC has, of course, benefited from the character of Superman. Now, over time, there have been other lawsuits which basically just say, hey, when you guys gave these kids $100 and gave them this contract, it was exploitative, it was super messed up, and so now we're going to renegotiate things. This has happened with Superman and the estates of Schuster and Siegel. This has also happened with Bill Finger to Bob Kane. If you know the story there, Bill Finger, pretty important piece of creating Batman. For a long time, Bob Kane had kind of taken the credit, and Bill Finger was not actually given a lot of credit. Over time, you have lawsuits which go back into these situations, reinvestigate them, and try to become more equitable. So over time, the Schuster estate, the Bill Finger estate, these different estates have won more and more rights to these characters and to be paid for the use of these characters. Okay, so that's kind of the TLDR of what's going on with this. Now, does this actually mean anything as far as the Superman film? Well, I wanted to pull this up and show you. This is not unique to Gunn's Superman. This happened in 2006 with Superman Returns. This also happened in 2013 for Man of Steel. And so it seems like anytime there's a big Superman movie within, the last 20 years, it seems like it's always a time that these different estates will get out there, make some noise, maybe put a lawsuit through and try to shake things up. In both of these prior examples, the courts ended up siding with DC and striking down these lawsuits. So, I actually don't think this will affect the Superman movie. There's a chance that it does because there are a couple of things that are different this time around. I think, number one, there is a difference in the state of the press and the state of fandom. I noticed, and I wonder if you guys noticed this too, the trades that covered this were kind of unkind. The headlines they put out there were pretty crazy. And I think it's just a lingering effect of like their relationship with James Gunn. I really don't think a lot of those people like James Gunn. And I think a lot of that had to do with him attacking Adam B. Very and other trade reporters for just doing their job at the beginning of like his whole thing. And so a lot of the headlines for this were even more aggressive than what I remember from the past. So that's like one kind of a difference. And I wonder if that could manifest into any difference of opinion within the courts. And then the only other thing that's different this time around is Trump. And he might have just started this crazy freaking trade war with a lot of other countries. We don't get political here, but I do think that could cause certain courts in other countries to look at things like this slightly differently than they would before. So wouldn't it be absolutely wild if Canada, Australia, the UK, Ireland, a lot of these other territories, wouldn't it be really interesting if the courts there, because this is not a United States court issue, this would be the courts of those particular countries. And I think what the estate is trying to do is renegotiate within international courts as far as what they are owed with these sort of situations. So wouldn't it be fascinating if this new kind of trade war situation and some of the tension in the international communities would perhaps push some of these international courts to side in a different direction than they normally would, mostly against American companies. That's really what it comes down to. Think about it from that perspective. These are American companies that are asserting that they do have the rights that the estate is saying they lack. And it's going to be up to these international courts to decide what that looks like on a country-by-country, territory-by-territory basis. I think it's a fascinating story. I think it's really interesting. I think it's obviously something that Gunn and Warner Brothers does not want to be out there and circulating in the press. But I also think these are important moments because it is absolutely true that the corporation Warner Brothers and the corporation of DC has not been super kind to these estates and to the people that have created these stories. So it's kind of like a chance for us to speak truth to power a little bit and allow for the sort of dark side of DC and Warner Brothers to get out there a little bit to the mainstream audience, because normally this is something people just don't think about or consider at all. This is probably why these lawsuits tend to happen around the release of these big movies, because in some ways the estates want to latch on to the news cycle and the popularity of these big event movies to get their story out there. And I do feel their story deserves to be told. And I do think this is an example of corporations screwing people over, potentially screwing people over for 50 plus years. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this all works out. I would imagine it's all going to get cleared up one way or another before the film comes out. But man, it will be ridiculous if this actually goes through and if this actually blocks Superman in certain territories. And we'll look back to like this day and this story, and we were like, oh man, I don't really think it's going to do much. I don't really think it has much to do with anything. And then all of a sudden, Superman's not out in Canada. I mean, like, what, we've got Canadian fans. Like, Trev, what are you going to do? Like, what are you Canadians going to do? What are you Englishmen going to do? What are you Australia, mate? Like, what are y'all going to do if Superman doesn't release? You just going to see Fantastic Four again and Thunderbolts again? What's the plan, man? I'm not really sure, but this blew up over the weekend. And so I wanted to give my take on it. Don't worry, it's probably going to be fine. And to be honest with you, I don't want this to happen. I give Gunn a lot of crap. I think the Superman movie doesn't look great, but I still want to see Superman. Come on. I still want to see Superman, and I want it to have its totally fair chance out there to be successful. At the end of the day, if Superman's very successful and the DCU pops off, I'll be able to make coverage about it, and that'll be real chill. So, yeah, that is what it is. That's the story. That's my breakdown. Is Superman going to get blocked? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. You tell me, chat. What do you think about that one? Now, we got a couple of quick stories here, all right? This one, this is for you Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans, are you still out there? Are you still out there, Star Wars fans? What do you want to happen in life with Star Wars? Well, here's something that did happen. Check this out. Derek Hoffman, longtime X-Men executive and Simon Kinberg collaborator, is now VP of Development at Lucasfilm, replacing Rain Roberts, the VP who spearheaded The Acolyte. Wow, fascinating. This came out, flew way under the radar, and it kind of reminds me of when Dave Filoni first got his promotion as CCO. The only reason we found out about this was because they changed something on the Lucasfilm website. I mean, brother, I could do several hours on how bad I think Kathleen Kennedy is and how backwards the culture is that she created and how I just don't understand her strategies, her leadership. I don't understand anything about anything when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. But I will also never understand why that wasn't put out in a press release as far as Dave Filoni getting more creative control over there. That's a huge W. That's something that, especially at the time, I think Star Wars fans would have went nuts for. How are you not putting that out in a press release? It's just so crazy to me. It's so backwards. This is also weird. Okay, so let's just look at this description here. Derek Hoffman, Vice President, Development. Since attending Indiana University, Derek Hoffman has worked in the film, video game, and comic book industry for the last 24 years, getting his start with the Donner's Company as a runner. He quickly moved into an assistant role for director Richard Donner and then associate producer on the next feature film, Timeline, and co-producer on 16 Blocks. Derek next became a development executive, later vice president for the company, where he worked on each film in the X-Men franchise, including an associate producer on X-Men Days of Future Past. Derek ultimately spearheaded the franchise's move into television, serving as co-executive producer on the FX series Legion and executive producer on Fox's Gifted. Dude, Gifted wasn't bad either, just being real. That show wasn't bad. Legion is the fucking GOAT. So that's super cool. I didn't even know he was involved in that. At Lucasfilm, Derek will help lead the team, develops our stories and adaptations in live action. So guys, even though I don't know like why, but like Kathy wants to hide this shit from you. I seriously believe, man. Chet, put me on the goddamn big screen for this one. I personally still believe that Kathy is living 20 years in the past. And I think that the strategy for Lucasfilm is very much like the strategy from Disney in the 80s and 90s, which is to say, we actually don't have anything going wrong. We're going to hide every problem. We're just going to sort of push through it, and we will not accept, and we are not going to let you know that we are holding L's at all, or that there is anything bad going on over here. This has been super frustrating for me as a Star Wars fan because the fucking sky is falling. The brand has just turned $1 billion place where they were going to do interactive Disney content into fucking Office Space. It is terrible. The sky is falling. So the fact that you had a vice president of development that was the guy that spearheaded the Accolade, and he's gone, and you're bringing this guy in, that is a massive W. You canceled the show. You must know that it wasn't working. I don't understand why we're not projecting this news out there. Hey, Accolade guy is gone. X-Men Legion guy is now helping to develop live action stuff. Well, guess what? They're not going to tell you it, but Papa Josh will. This is a W, and it maybe could be a very good sign of things to come for Lucasfilm. Particularly love that this guy works with the Donners. One of the other greatest producers of all time, Kevin Feige, also worked with the Donners. That's really interesting. Wonder if there's some kind of a connection between their career paths. And another reason why this is so cool is we don't know shit about the accountability. I say that with air quotes. We don't know shit about the accountability that's supposedly happening over at Lucasfilm. I mean, right now, Marvel Studios is about to say goodbye to Nate Moore. Victoria Alonso's on the way out. They just shuffled some members of their parliament around. So like a new guy that used to work in VFX is now a part of parliament. I think maybe to replace Nate Moore. So Marvel's had to deal with massive consequences. And yes, that is deserved because Marvel faced, a bit of a fall off and a lot of recalibration. But where's the consequences for Lucasfilm? I mean, Marvel looks like they're absolutely killing it compared to Lucasfilm right now. You had Accolade, one of the lowest viewed Star Wars shows ever. The next show was even lower. Skeleton Kids. Nobody watched fucking Skeleton Kids. So, when are we going to see that there's consequences at Lucasfilm? That there are adults in the room, either above people at Lucasfilm over at Disney or at Lucasfilm themselves, that are like, hey, this shit ain't going right. We need to fix stuff. There needs to be accountability here. We need new vision, new people. We haven't seen any of that. Okay, I'm not saying this guy is going to save Star Wars, but I'm saying it's a step. And I'm saying this is the first hint in a long time that Accolade's failure had real consequences, and you're bringing in somebody new to help to try to develop. So I think this is good. I think this is a W for Star Wars. Okay, next up, I want to talk a little bit about Invincible, and then I think we're chilling. I think that might do it, and we'll get into the Q&A, okay? So, Invincible Season 3 drops this Thursday, and I spent a good bit of time researching this over the weekend. I have a big video coming out which breaks down everything you need to know for Season 3. I went through all the official announcements. I went through some stuff that got leaked out there. And guys, I think this show's about to pop off. Now, Season 1 of Invincible was incredible. Now, this had the benefit of coming out after a long 2020 with zero Marvel content. Do you remember that, by the way? Do you guys remember that? I didn't even fully remember this, but nothing came out from Marvel Studios in 2020. Nothing. It wasn't until 2021 that we started to get movies again for Marvel, that we started to get shows, et cetera, et cetera. So we had a long 2020 with no content. Anyway, Invincible Season 1 comes out. It was monumental. I thought the numbers were very good, and I think part of that had to do with people's appetite being very, hungry. We were like, yo, where's the content? No Marvel content for a long time. Bam, Invincible Season 1, incredible. And then Season 2 was like a big old fumble, right? You had a massive delay between the two seasons. There were weird animation issues that fans are not crazy about. The story itself seemed to kind of linger, and it lacked the punchiness of Season 1. And then they did maybe one of the worst possible things ever, which was that huge gap in between the episodes. You had a 4-episode thing, 6 to 7 months off, and then another 4 episodes. It was terrible, okay? But to give credit to that team, they seem to have realized how bad that was, and they seem to have gotten their shit together. So, just like the first season of Invincible, we are going to get 3 episodes dropping on Thursday, and then you're going to get a new episode every week all the way up into the finale, which will be on March 13th. Now, that in and of itself is a huge W. You're not going to get a break in between it. It's coming out with the same old schedule of like 3 episodes and then one. I am a little bummed that it's still going to drop at 3 a.m. I think that's ridiculous, 3 a.m. But I'm still really looking forward to like checking that out. Now, the other thing I will say about Invincible is it seems like when you look at what Robert Kirkman has said and you look at some of the stuff that people involved in the show have said, it seems like they've figured out how to make the show faster and they've figured out the pacing better. I think part of the delay with the second season was trying to figure out the changes they wanted to make to the comic book, how they wanted to actually tell this story over a long period of time. And they seem to have figured that out. We're supposed to get 8 seasons of Invincible. They are already into production and writing on the next season of Invincible. So I would expect it to happen faster. I would expect it to be more punchy, a lot more fun. And look, there's some leaked descriptions out there of what these episodes are going to entail. I think they're going to pop off. So, frankly, I think Invincible is about to get its aura back. And I'm really hoping that it can pop off the way that the first season did. Because I love this show, man. And I'll continue to cover it. And it might be a good time for it, too, right? There's not a ton going on right now. Like, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man's a thing. I think that show's great. Hard to say how much traction that's getting, but it's not like this show is going to be competing against Daredevil until maybe some of its later episodes. There does feel like there's a little bit of a gap here, a little bit of a space, and I think Invincible has a lot of stuff going for it, and I think it could pop off. So I'm going to be doing that video, probably drop that on Wednesday, and I think I'll at least do a video that goes over all of the first 3 episodes. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that a lot of people will check it out and that it can get as popular as it was in season 1. And I'm curious for you guys. Like, are you guys excited about it? Have you looked into season 3 at all? Are you, like, unaware of some of the stuff I'm talking about? If you hear some of the stuff and it gets exciting, would you want to check it out? Are you totally over Invincible? I'd love to know what you think about Invincible season 3, because I think it has a chance to pop off for real. So just wanted to mention that while we're in the story. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's break it in to the Q and the A. I'll start to get into a lot of the super chats and member chats that you guys sent in. We'll look at the chat as well. I know we went over a ton of stuff today, so all kinds of stuff that we can discuss. Maybe we start with the Invincible bit, though. I mean, how do you guys feel about that Invincible thing? Are you going to be watching Invincible? Because I'm definitely watching that shit. I'm excited. Companion, any thoughts? I don't know what that is. What's Companion? Watch the clip of Captain America? Nah. I mean, I'm excited for Captain America. But I want to know about Invincible. Are you excited for Invincible? Did you crash out yet? No, but I'm about to. Hell nah. I'm sick of drunk Kirkman's nonsense. Ain't watching that crap. What? What the hell? Now Kirkman's a drunkard? And you're not watching that nonsense? What the hell? Let's see here. This person says, I'm still interested in Invincible season 3, but season 1 was way better than season 2. Yeah, I agree. 100%. 100%. All right, we got to go to the polls on this. I'm shocked at this Invincible hate. I am shocked at this Invincible hate. Are you gonna watch Invincible Season 3? I need to know. I need to know. Maybe I should have done this poll before I decided to spend all weekend making a video about Invincible Season 3, but maybe some of you will like it. I'm totally ready for Invincible to get back to where it was. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. It's a horror movie with sex robots. What is? The Companion? Oh, okay. That sounds great. Space Trick Serial says, if you don't cover Invincible, I'm going to poop on your walls. Fantastic. Wonderful. Love that energy from chat. Jesus. Shockwaves Lab says, Josh, if you like Invincible, I highly recommend Irredeemable, another indie comic. Oh, okay. I don't think I've heard of Irredeemable. Sounds pretty chill, though. Sounds pretty chill. It's just a bunch of softies who can't handle mature content. What? Oh, wow. We're 50-50? You guys are 50-50 on watching Invincible? Holy shit. I don't hate Invincible. I just lost interest. Oh, my God. Mark Wade wrote Irredeemable. Oh, okay, cool. Mark Wade's pretty good. I'm shocked at the amount of you that are resistant to Invincible. I'm just going to say this. You all better watch that video I made. And after you watch that video, you're going to be like, oh, shit. You know what? I am in. You know what? I am excited. And I'm all in on Invincible. That's the new thing. You know, it's been Warhammer over here for a while. The new thing is Invincible. Get that Invincible out of my face. Holy. I'm shocked. All right, let's let that poll settle there. Bro, last season did a number. They're going to need a dope season to get people back. I agree with that, actually. I agree with that. And I think they've got the dope season, man. Trust me. Trust me. Okay, let's get into some of the chats. And then we'll get back into the chat, see what you guys think. So first in today was Rossi with a $50 super sticker. That cannot be done on purpose. You must have done that on accident, and don't charge it back because I appreciate it. Thanks for the 50. Rossi then follows up and says, Kyber Sith made it on Theory's stream. Congrats, 100%. That's cool. That's real cool. Elijah Thomas, welcome back to the Nerd Vengers. Appreciate you. Jacob Stowe says, let's fucking go. Fantastic Four, getting to meet our Human Torch, Joseph Quinn, this Sunday at MegaCon. I'm so ready to do the Fantastic Four done justice on screen. Hell yeah. No, I'm excited for that too. That's cool. You're going to be able to meet him on Sunday at MegaCon. That's super cool. Yo, shout out to everybody that's going to MegaCon. I hope you guys have a good time. You'll be able to maybe ask him about the trailer, because if the trailer comes out tomorrow, you might be able to ask him about the trailer. And in fact, I think there's a really interesting scene with Johnny in that trailer tomorrow. That's all I can say about it. Joshua Kemble Bluegrass says, I'm thinking about getting into Jonathan Hickman's omnibus collections and wanted to know your recommendation for the reading order for the Secret Wars run. Well, if you were going to read Hickman stuff, I would suggest the Fantastic Four stuff first. That stuff was really cool. And then when it comes to Secret Wars, you just need to read like Time Runs Out. So I think the Secret Wars omnibus actually collects a lot of the key issues for that. And it'll take you through like Avengers and New Avengers and all those kind of moments, maybe some Infinity stuff. And then it's all Time Runs Out right at the end, and you get into the Secret Wars thing. So I'm pretty sure that omnibus actually collects all of that stuff. I would recommend reading that entire run, the Avengers run, the New Avengers run, all of that sort of stuff. It's over 100 comics, and I read it all live before. It was super easy, and we finished that up real quick. So you can go watch the live streams where I read all of that. Blaine says, hey, Josh, maybe one of the Marvel trailers playing at the big game is a new Thunderbolts trailer, and it'll be our first look at Century. Yeah, brother, you must have sent this in earlier before I started to go over it. I agree with that 100%. I think that is what's going to happen. I'm super excited to see this entry. Hopefully we get a little tease for the Void as well. That shit's going to be dope. Zach says, happy Monday, everyone. Just sending some love, but I'll have to watch after work. You stay classy, San Diego. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you. And we'll see you on the replay. Joshua says, I've decided to rewatch the MCU, opening my mind to the idea of RDJ actually being an adopted Doom. And after watching Iron Man 1, I can see it. Yeah, you know what's crazy is so I obviously have that theory and, had it for a while. But last year, we rewatched Iron Man 1 together on Twitch, and I was joking. And I was like, where's Dr. Doom? Where's Dr. Doom in that movie? And I was like, oh, shit, that could be Doom. Oh, that's Tony being like Doom for sure. There were a surprising number of things that made me think he could be Doom, even in that first movie. And then what makes that kind of weird and ironic is after we watched that together, a rumor came out that RDJ's Dr. Doom will somehow be present during Iron Man 1. And somehow we're going to see that from the perspective of RDJ during that film. We're going to see that. So that's pretty crazy. Like, it's just wild that we watched that film and we were like, yo, like he could be in here. And now the rumor is that he is potentially actually in that movie. Won't that be wild to experience in theaters? That's going to be crazy. 34 Virgo says crypto takes away the seriousness. Crypto takes away the seriousness for me in the film. Oh, you mean Crypto the dog? Or I thought you meant like crypto coins that are all going to zero currently. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I wonder what you guys think about crypto. Are you guys hyped up on crypto? Or do you think crypto's like lame and taking away the seriousness? I don't really know. I'd love to know what you think about it. I like crypto as a concept. I just don't like the look of guns crypto. Like, that just doesn't look like crypto to me. And it's just like, obviously, when you make a movie, you make a movie with your own sensibilities, right? But the problem is, I don't like guns sensibilities. And not only do I not like gun sensibilities, I don't think they're right for Superman. So like this little scruffy, weird looking crypto, that feels very James Gunn. It doesn't feel very crypto to me. So pretty much at like every point of this movie, I disagree with the looks and the aesthetic. It feels correct for James Gunn. It just doesn't feel correct to Superman. But I kind of think I don't know that my opinion represents what most people think. I think most people are cool with crypto, even that scruffy little whatever crypto. Like, I think most people are just fine with it. Javier Mendez says, any older one-shot comics you recommend? Ooh, one-shot comics. I can't think of any necessarily one-shot comics, but I will say one of my favorite Frank Miller books that's like really cool is a book called Ronin. If you've never read his Ronin comic, bro, it's brilliance, the likes of which we don't usually see today in comics. It's a layered story. There are parts of the story that are barely legible, and that was done intentionally because he was trying to like get you to almost be in a daze when you were reading it because the character's kind of in a daze. Ronin is awesome, so I'll just recommend that. C-Dub says, let's go Chiefs, baby. Sorry, Josh, your Eagles don't have the gift of swift aura like the Chiefs do. Ugh, gross. Plus 20% luck, plus 20% favorability penalty calls to all allies within the stadium that Taylor is at. Yeah, that's true, actually. You're probably right. And I hate it. So, yeah. I think a lot of people are rooting for the Eagles. Chat, are you guys rooting for the Eagles? And also, I can't believe this poll. 49% of you are not going to watch Invincible Season 3. The hell did I spend all that time making that video for then? Holy. All right, now I got to do a new poll, though. Who you got? in the big game. And we'll go Eagles, Taylor Swift's team. Super curious. Super curious. Hey, Adam, I saw your interaction with him. The problem is, and I say this with all due respect, as an Eagles fan and somebody that lived in Philadelphia for 6-7 years, he was right. It's a tough spot because I really wanted to back you up, but no, he's right. C Black says, Josh, Marvel just dropped a new Cap 4 clip. Okay, where's this Cap 4 clip? Everybody wants me to watch the Cap 4 clip. Where's it at? Can somebody drop it? Drop it in the chat. Oh, the Cap 4 clip. Here we go. Eagles fans are some of the worst. Yeah, they just are. You know, like, again, I'm sorry. I love that town. But they're the worst. They genuinely are the worst. Where is the Watch the Astartes 2 trailer we already did last week? I'm in a no-win situation here. I respond and call I'm a pussy for being a fake pussy, and then I'm a typical Eagles fan. I could barely read that, but you're right. That's barely legible, Adam, but you're right. Where's the Cap 4 trailer? Nobody's sending it in? Okay, fine. I guess we won't watch it then. Jay Moore says, Lucasfilm, more like Kennedy film. Suck it, haters. Wait, what? I don't like that. Space Trick Cereal says, you don't cover Invincible. I'm going to poop on your walls. Don't worry. I'm going to cover it. Shockwave Lab says, Josh, if you like Invincible, I highly recommend. Oh, yeah, we already read that. Sam and Ross are talking about Avengers in the new clip. Ooh, okay. Let's check that out. Chris says, hyped and hopeful for the comeback of Marvel, and I'm so grateful to be sharing it with this sweaty community. No Avengers for life. Nudity. Oh, hell yeah, brother. I agree. All right, so should I just look this up on Twitter? Captain America. Where's this new clip anyway?
How much latitude?
Okay. Let's check this out. Seems pretty sure. All right, let's see here.
You and I haven't always agreed on how much latitude enhanced individuals deserve. But what you've accomplished has given me reason to reconsider. Which is why I want you, Captain America, to help me rebuild the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yes, sir.
Oh, with all due respect, sir, when you passed the Sokovia Accords, you tore the Avengers apart. Why the change of heart?
I represent all Americans now. Hell, half of them wouldn't even be here without the Avengers. The country needs this.
And when we disagree on how to manage a situation, what happens then?
Figure it out together.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it looks cool. Looks cool. Man, a lot of mystery about this movie. Is it going to be dope? Is it going to feel flat? I don't know, man. I'm pretty curious. I'm rooting for it, though. I am rooting for it. I don't know. What did you guys think of that clip? I mean, it doesn't really move the needle for me. It's cool. But that's just kind of like an extension of something we've already seen in the trailers. You know? I don't know. Vandalf the Black says, after thinking about this for a while, I don't know why Gunn took on Superman. Outside of Zack, who do you think could have made a better Superman movie? To write, shoot, direct, who got it? So I think the current guy that's working with Tom Cruise on the Mission Impossible movies, Christopher McQuarrie, I believe is his name. I think he was literally pitching a Superman movie around that time, and Gunn killed that pitch and just decided to do it himself. And I think McQuarrie would have been a much better fit for it. Yeah, I mean, why did Gunn decide to do this? I think he might have realized that if the Superman movie didn't work, there might not be another movie for him to do. So he better take the first movie. It's kind of weird, right? Because a lot of the current rumors are saying that the Authority is like, basically David Zaslav said no to the Authority. He looked at the script and said it would cost too much money. He was like, I don't really see this doing well, so no, we're not going to do this. There's some rumors that now they will do it as a animated show. But yeah, apparently Zaslav put his foot down and was like, nah, James Gunn. That's kind of wild because I think the Authority would have been a great fit for Gunn. That feels like his wheelhouse. Superman does not feel like his wheelhouse. And I guess we're going to see. A lot of people, here's what I'll say, to give Gunn credit. A lot of people really like that Superman trailer. And there's no needle drops in it, right? It's a score rather than a soundtrack. And Gunn has said in interviews that he dialed the humor back, that it's different than a lot of his usual things. And it's almost like he himself realized that his normal wheelhouse was not going to necessarily work on a Superman movie. Now, to me, again, I'm like, well, then why would you do it? Just give it to somebody else. But it's still possible that just he understands the character so well based on being a big nerd, and he knew how to change his own style to be more appropriate for the film. And so far, from what we've seen in the trailers, that might have worked. I mean, I think the tone of Superman is great. I don't love the look of it, and it's a huge barrier of entry for me. But I think tonally it works. And I think some of the things that he's playing with feel right. His whole concept of Luthor feels right. I think some of the challenges that Clark will face and how that is juxtaposed against the choices other people make, that feels right. So there seems to be some parts of this that he is getting right, and the public at large is responding positively to that trailer. So maybe he nailed it, and maybe it's an example of somebody that's like, okay, normally maybe not my thing, but I'm going to do it, and we're going to rock out in the free world. He might have nailed it. We're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying, and I'm in a similar boat. I'm in a similar boat. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm going to kick it. We're about to get out of here. I'll look at chat and see if there's any other comments, questions, concerns within the next couple of minutes. And otherwise, I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Maybe not everybody can get up that early and hang, but I'll be up and I'll be reacting to the Fantastic Four trailer very early tomorrow. It's going to be cool. Twitch. Yes, I see Twitch. Any questions, any concerns, any cool things on Twitch? It's cool. I know you aren't going to see Twitch. Check Twitch. What are you guys saying on Twitch? So far, Spidey show good, but man, it's hard to be taken out by every single character being gender and or race swapped. Much love, brother. Princess, I hope you and Elise are doing well. I mean, look, you either are taken out and bothered by that stuff or you're not. I'm just not. Like, I don't know what to say. I mean, I think for some people, they are perhaps so fatigued of those kind of decisions over and over again that they see it and it sticks out like a sore thumb and it immediately becomes like a red flag for them. All I can tell you is that, like, I'm not like that at all. Like, I'm not like that at all. Now, I get fatigued with this stuff, especially because it just continues the conversations, which I find to be really, like, tiring. And I think that the studios should be careful about how much of that kind of stuff they engage with and how much they promote it via press and stuff, because I think it causes a lot of problems. But the show itself, I mean, brother, have you been to New York? Have you been to New York recently, like within the past 10 years? When I look at Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, that's just what New York looks like. Like, I really don't see it through a lens of like, oh, dude, this DEI that, oh, race bent this, that, second, and the third. Like, I frankly just see New York, and that's it. So definitely have zero problem with any of that sort of stuff. I think the show's great. And I think the thing also about the show is it is literally a more modern interpretation of Peter Parker, and it is meant for people of a younger generation. And I think it is trying to show accurately what Peter and his world would look like if it happened like today. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like I don't get down with that like at all. I know some people do, and I always try to respect people's opinions. Like I'm not going to tell you that you suck or that you're ignorant for feeling that way, but I'll also just be real with you. Like I'm not that guy. I'm not bothered by that at all. At all. I think that show's fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to the 3 episodes, I think, that are going to drop Wednesday. Oh, that's going to be dope, man. Like, I was so shocked at how much I enjoyed those first 2 episodes. And I thought it left off on a brilliant cliffhanger. And I'm excited to see maybe Norman Osborn and Peter Parker working together. I think it'll be cool. Josh, do you think the Void could lead to the Void in Thunderbolts? I think what you're saying is, could the Void character lead to the Void of like Deadpool, Wolverine, and Loki season 2? I don't know, man. I mean, that's kind of interesting, right? Like that's kind of cool. Could be. I hope it's bigger than that. I hope it's like Void cracks open a space to something like the Quantum Realm or some other like version of that. But it could be. I mean, don't you think that would be a little on the nose if the Void takes you to the Void? I don't know. I don't know if that's as cool. I hope it's something darker, almost like the Upside Down from Stranger Things, or the Negative Zone, or the Cancerverse, or something like that. That would be crazy, man. That would be crazy. Charlie says, yes, I'm with you on that. Cities all over the U.S. are very diverse. I don't mind that, and new characters of all races and genders. I just don't like the swapping of legacy characters. I feel like it's pandering and virtue signaling. Still enjoy the show, though. I mean, you could totally feel that way. I just don't. Like in the Across the Spider-Verse movies, right, where they made Doc Ock female, was there like a part of me that was like, oh, they're doing that? Sure. Did it take me out so far that I like couldn't enjoy the character or the scene or whatever? No, not really. I mean, I don't know. I guess for me, it's comics, and it's like we're talking about alternate realities, right? So this is by definition not the comic book universe. And there's always shit about it that's different. You know what I mean? And to me, it's more like, oh, we're seeing this version of that comic book thing. It's like totally different than Star Wars and some of these other franchises, where if you have a Star Wars show, it's funny. I was actually talking to Matt about this on the first episode of the Nerd Hammer podcast. The thing about Star Wars is there's no like offshoot Star Wars stuff. Whatever the most recent Star Wars thing is, that's Star Wars. Like, it's the Star Wars. It's not like comics where there's already inherently all these different versions. Retconning is a big part of it. Like, the comic book genre actually lends itself to live action adaptations or alternate versions really well, because that's like the vibe of comics. Like, it's always different. Peter Parker himself has gone through so many different crazy changes. You know what I mean? So that feels right. Whereas when you have a show like Rings of Power, for instance, or you have something like Tolkien, you can make an argument that they're just doing the same stuff, but there's an actual difference there. Like Tolkien was creating something that's supposed to be mythology for white English people. Okay? And so if you present to me the idea that, like, I think it was, what were they called? The Norns or whatever. These people come in, slaughter all of the English people, and literally destroy all of their history, right? And so what Tolkien is doing is a little bit more pure in the sense that it's supposed to be a mythology of the white people of England. And so when you start like making black elves or, you know, making Tolkien characters black and all of that, on one level, it's just as fine as when you do it with the Marvel stuff, because it's like, it's all fiction, right? Who cares? We're trying to represent the world. The difference with the Tolkien stuff is that you're actually discarding a huge part of that is strictly different. It was supposed to be mythology. It was supposed to speak directly to a history of a very specific people. And so when you start bringing in like ideas of like DEI representation, like, does anybody understand what I'm saying here? Like, there's some principled reasons to feel differently with regards to Rings of Power than the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show, which isn't even the main Spider-Man for the MCU. Like, there's layers, there's levels to this, right? And even with the Tolkien thing, I honestly don't care that much, right? But I would at least understand that argument if you had said, like, well, actually the intention of this story is meant to be mythology, and therefore the actual representation of these white people whose history was destroyed, what were they called? The Normans or something like that? That's just different than a character that was created in the 60s by a white dude, Jewish dude actually, who was just trying to show the world through what he saw. And we've already had different interpretations of that character. So the Ultimates universe, but even just, you know, other versions throughout the many, many years of comics. It's just different. You know, to me, it's different. Benjamin says, thanks for the nerdy community you've created. And shout out to all the people in chat starting their own streams making nerdy content. I love it here. Oh, hell yeah. No, we got a great community, man. We have a great community, and I'm excited that there's a lot of people in this community inspired to go out and make their own content. I think we're about to enter a couple of years for Marvel content at least, which is going to be really cool. We're going to kind of get back to that energy of like Infinity War and Endgame. I'm very excited for that. A lot of fun, nerdy stuff in general happening, like Warhammer. I know we're all really excited about Warhammer. Throw one into the chat if you're excited about Warhammer, baby. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on here. I really appreciate it. Watch those wrist rockets. Says new comic book day and Spider-Man. Let's go. Much love. Oh, hell yeah, man. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, everybody. I appreciate everybody today. Thank you very much. Went over a lot today. Trailer stuff, Superman stuff, Invincible stuff. Pretty cool. So I appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to get on out of here. But I've got a big old X-Men video dropping for you later today. Maybe you've heard there's a ton of rumors and speculation about the X-Men movies. Got a big old video coming out for you today. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be live, 7 a.m. I'm going to have coffee. I'm going to be dragging. And we're going to watch the Fantastic Four first trailer together. That's going to be spectacular. Come on by for that. And then I'll do a breakdown throughout the day. And yeah, there's a lot of good nerdy stuff going on this week, man. It's going to be a good day. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh, man, another happy landing. Oh, and I don't know if you saw it. I just put it into the chat. The reviews are out for season 3 of Invincible. Unbelievable. And I quote, with season 3, Invincible retains its title as the greatest superhero show on television. I told y'all. The aura is back. I dug into the research over the weekend and I was like, God damn. Hell yeah. I'm excited.
Much love. Communita Ranch Unita
Oh my God.
#RV4L.
That's amazing. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Nerd Managers for Life, Ranch Managers for Life. I love the way the talk to text picked that up. That's amazing. Thank you, Tim. Hey, how many of you buttholes are going to be in here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.? Throw a 1 into the chat. Am I going to be alone? Am I going to be all alone tomorrow? I hope I'm not all alone. But even if I am, I'll start complaining about female Silver Surfer and a lack of Doctor Doom. Don't worry, baby. You can watch it on the replay. Hell yeah. Tomorrow, 7 a.m. Can you believe it? I cannot. Honestly, I cannot. But, yeah, we'll be live. Okay. Appreciate y'all. Remember to open up that third eye and wash out your stinky booty hole.